and to induct you into the Kentucky Hall of Fame. Woo!
Headhunters and Sizemore and HoF, man, this is crazy. I've been very, very fortunate in the last 13, 14 years. A lot of really cool stuff has happened on my journey or my ride, whatever you want to call it. But, I've been fortunate enough to meet, and not only meet, but become friends with a lot of my heroes. Some of them, most of them are gone now, sadly, but this is definitely the most humbling, and, you know, I don't know how to say this. A lot of moments I found that as they were happening, I wasn't able to process until days or months or sometimes years later. And this one is not lost on me right now. When I saw the display case earlier today, and looked to my right, and there's Keith Whitley, and you know, Bill Monroe and other people. So this is heavy dope, you know. And then, you know, even Danny. I remember like 10 years ago, before the record Jessica was talking about came out, you know, I only made that record because I thought I'd never get to make another one. I was an unemployed pothead songwriter working at a grocery store. And about 6 or 7 months before that, my wife had said, "Hey, I'm pregnant." So I thought, all right, I left a great job with the railroad that paid me a good salary to be an unemployed pothead songwriter. I must have been out of my mind. So now I got a baby coming. This is probably the last chance I'll get to do this. So when we went in the studio, Miles and a couple other brothers, you know, we didn't go in to make a record. We had a few days off. We thought, let's just kill some time. And all I thought we were doing was making some songs. And those songs we recorded changed my life. And it's just been a head down endeavor ever since. And this is pretty special. I was a young kid. When they asked me what I wanted to put in the display case, the first things that came to mind were my grandfather Dude's old Gibson J50, which is the guitar I learned to play on, and then my other grandfather Orr's mandolin, because the two of them, outside of all the artists that I've listened to in my life, were probably the most impactful two human beings on my musical career. My grandfather Dude listened religiously to Merle Haggard, Willie Nelson, Marty Robbins. We'd watch HoF on the couch. He'd tell me which guys were holding the guitar as a prop, which ones could actually play. You know, Roy Clark, guys like that. My grandfather Orr was a devout bluegrass devotee. He spent his entire widower, retiree years in a motorhome going to bluegrass festivals. I remember when I was not much older than my oldest son. I was probably 3rd or 4th grade. He was visiting us at home one day. And he came in my room and he had these cassette tapes. He had this giant brown box of field recordings he made of all these bluegrass festivals. He lived and breathed it. And he was playing like old Stanley Brothers and Hot Rise. And, you know, I was too young. My palate wasn't ready to absorb it. And he looked at me and he said, you know, one day, it's going to get in you, and it ain't ever going to get out. And cousin Mike. You know, my dad and I would go every Christmas up to his sister's house, my Uncle Wayne. And Mike had one of those old tower stereos with his headphones. And I remember I was in like 5th grade, and he said, "What do you listen to?" And I don't know, it was probably something I'd be embarrassed to tell you right now. And he had this stack of CDs that, CDs had been out a year or two, and it was like Zeppelin, Cream, and Hendrix, and Pink Floyd. And he just set me down on the floor and put the headphones on me and said, "I'll be back in 3 days." And then my father, career state policeman. I was a sensitive, artistic kid. He probably didn't know what to do with me, but he always supported and pushed it, And he took me to see Van Halen and Led Zeppelin when I was in like 4th and 5th grade, and that was it. My life was ruined. But I never had the ambition, I didn't think it was something I wanted. I thought it was a hobby. So I went to the Navy, I worked for the railroad, and then I hit vapor lock with that job about 14 years ago, and it was just like the Martin came out of the closet, started writing, started singing, started recording, and my wife was like, "Hey man, you don't suck at this." So we sold everything and packed up the Bronco and the dog and moved to Nashville. About 14 years ago. And I just kept my head down, stuck to the plan, and I don't know what I'm doing. But it got me here, and I'm grateful, so thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. This means everything.